Hello everyone, Ben Chapman here, doing another video for Numot Gaming. This is going to be a ranked video, so I'm going to be playing some Constructed Eternal. This is the deck we're taking into battle. I did feature my article this week, so the deck is built around Vodakhan here. Temple Speaker, 7 cost, strength and health equal to your total power. And the key there, though, is your power cards have destiny. So you see the tooltip, anything that has destiny, when it automatically plays the card when drawn, and then you draw another card. So when he's in play, if it's just him, and you draw a time sigil, let's say, time sigil goes into play, you draw another card. If that's another sigil, or a banner, or a seat, that'll go into play, and you'll draw another card. So in theory, you could draw a whole bunch of cards, and put all those power cards right into play, and basically you're ramping yourself and you're drawing cards, and you're making your Vodakhan bigger. So on his own, he's a threat. He is risky in that any silence effect, like a Desert Marshal, will just kill him, because if he's silenced, he doesn't get the ability that gives him health. So he is really weak to a Desert Marshal, for example, but this deck has a lot of other things that need to be silenced, so, and we're running 4, so you only need 1 to stay in play to go off. So what are the things that combo with him? Well, you'll notice Seek Power and Secret Pages, these both draw sigils from your deck. When you're drawing a sigil, that triggers Destiny as well. So if I have him in play, and then I use a Seek Power, I put that sigil into play, then I draw another card. So he goes really well with these cards. And then the bigger combo is with Voice of the Speaker, giving your power cards echo. So whenever you draw a power card, you copy it. So if Voice is in play with the Speaker, and you draw a time sigil for your turn, Voice of the Speaker copies the time sigil, so you draw 2 time sigils, and then Vodakhan gives them Destiny, so they both go into play, then you draw 2 cards. If either of the 2 cards you draw are sigils, or again any power card, she'll copy them, he'll put them into play. So these 2 can allow you to basically draw a ton of cards, sometimes like 20 cards in one draw step, and all the power cards go into play, so you're ramping yourself huge, your Vodakhan becomes gigantic, and then we can win with a variety of different things, like Martial Ironthorn that will ultimate to kill all their units, and then you can just attack with the Vodakhan. That's the most common way you win. But you can also just put a bunch of owls into play, or activate Seraph a bunch of times, or just attack them with huge Vodakhans repeatedly until they run out of things to chump block with. You also have these Mystic Ascendants, where Vodakhan and Mystic Ascendant is also a 2-card combo that's really nice, in that that situation where you're drawing, if you can draw multiple power cards in a row, they'll all go into play with Vodakhan, and when they go into play, this gets bigger and you draw cards, so like they kind of work together towards letting you go off and put a bunch of power into play and draw a bunch of cards. So there's a lot of little combos in here. It does cost 7. It is vulnerable, so how do we survive to get these combos online? That's where we have Desert Marshal, Amber Acolyte, which kind of does double duty of acting like another Secret Pages and Seek Power when you have Vodakhan, but also being a blocker. They get in the way of like an Oni Ronin. Like it's slow, but the body is relevant. In that just being able to chump block stuff can gain you the time you need to get to Harsh Roll. This looks a little strange. We've got Amber Acolyte, Voice, Seraph, Titan, and Great Parliament, but also Harsh Roll. So we've got a bunch of units, and then Harsh Roll. So why is the Harsh Roll here? Well, first off, a lot of your units are fine post Harsh Roll, or even better. So like Seraph is a fine card to play after a Harsh Roll, to then start using its ultimate, or its just ability over and over. Same with, Parliament is clearly great after a Harsh Roll. So basically the idea is to play one or two, sometimes 2, but often just 1 of these. So if you can land a Titan, let's say, it's gonna lock down the ground, and it shuts down the air, so it's gonna lock down the board until either they deal with it or they go make enough units to be able to attack past it. So we want that second pattern. We want them to play out a bunch of things, and then we can harsh rule and then drop our more powerful, expensive cards to win the game. So it looks a little weird, but the harsh rule is really important to the deck. Sometimes there's a lot of matchups where if you don't draw it, you can't really win. But the thing that's really cool about this deck is that you can go over the top. Like, this deck is really good against other time decks that are playing similar cards, but we're playing 4 of all these really powerful, expensive cards. So when we get to the late game, if we can just assemble one of these things, it can run away with the game. So that's what we're looking to do, and our harsh rule is really good against time decks anyway, assuming they don't stand together you, which is a very good card. I would play that in the side deck if we were allowed to play best 2 out of 3. I think stand together is good against really awesome answer against harsh rule, but in ranked, I just want to go for the most streamlined thing possible because there's so many other matchups where you don't really want stand together, like the aggressive decks. So this deck does struggle against harsh rule decks if you don't have access to stand together, and it can struggle against aggressive things if you don't draw any of your early defensive stuff. So it is possible you draw hands with a lot of expensive cards and just get run over, but there's enough time decks running around where I think you're advantaged that this is like a fine deck to play in ranked. It's also really fun. So let's play some games. Oop, not with Warcry. Let's pick the right deck. Okay. So I'm going to play some games here, not like a million, but we'll play for about a half hour, 45 minutes, and see how it goes. So I said, in my article this week I talked about what I thought were the best decks to play if you're trying to just climb ranked or have the highest win rate in ranked, and the underlying theme for that is just proactive decks I think are the best because it lets you play through a lot of games quicker. Okay, so we're up against Dark Hands. He tends to play like aggressive decks, and this is actually a pretty good hand to try to combat aggressive decks. Like this will be a relevant blocker against, say, a Grenadin drone, so things are working out as expected. If he doesn't have Torch, this will do a lot of work. And then Seraph is a great blocker, so I'd feel a lot better about this if we were on the draw or on the play. But on the draw, it's going to be hard. If he like has a Torch, it's going to be rough. So he didn't have the Torch, so that's really helpful. But if he has a turn 4 Bandit Queen, it's going to be tough. Yep. So we have a great answer to that with our Desert Marshal. Let's just get the bigger thing out. So we actually have a really nice hand to potentially beat him here. Yep, he had the nut draw, but I think we might still be okay. It's going to be tough. We might need to look at a chump block here. And looking at taking 8. But then we could, like, next turn silence this, block here, block here. So if he has another Bandit Queen, it's going to be tough. But I think this is good. You know, you don't want to block this one because they probably play the card that brings back 1-drops. So you want to kill these as late as possible in this matchup. So I do think we want to chump and just preserve our life total. If we get to 4 or 5 power, we're going to win, I think, pretty effectively. So that's a rough draw. So yeah, we're going to go for this play of silence, block, block there. But if he has another Bandit Queen, you know, what are you going to do? So he didn't. Again, we want to preserve the life total. We could block these 1-drops for value, but we're getting low. We don't want to like just die to some torches, even though we know he doesn't have any. Alright, so he's all in. And this is bad now, because we really needed to like play a 4-4. Now we're gonna have to like double block. If he gets the shadow, we're like really dead. But hopefully he doesn't have that. If this gets to be deadly, then he can just kill us basically. So I think we have to go for the double. If we block like this, we go to 2. Either way, we're dead to torch. But getting this off the board is huge. So I think this is the way to go. If we can get to 4 and he never draws torch, this is the thing. Our deck doesn't have any life gain, which means we're probably going to lose this game due to that. The fact that we missed all these power drops is really bad. So now we're going to go to 1. If he has anything, we die. Any removal, we're dead. Alright, 2 torch. So I think if we were on the play, we actually could have won that game. And if we got the 4 power within a turn 5 or 6. It was a close game. Being on the draw really hurts this deck, just because we're taking turns off to find power, like with secret pages. So yeah, that's like the worst. I think that's the worst matchup for this deck. Actually, is that particular build of Stone Scar. So this is like pretty bad. I think we can try to do better. Alright, I like having Harsh Rule. That really helps. We have the combo, so if he wasn't ridiculously aggressive, we might be okay, but we may just run into another... This is really bad news. Like, this means he's playing hyper-aggressive, which is bad for us. Him not doing anything is nice. Ugh, that card's gross, but at least you have the blocker here. So it looks like he's mono fire, so we drew really, really well this game. But we still might lose. Just because aggro is so rough. Man, that is brutal. Just take 1,000,000. Wow. Well, at least we get the Harsh Rule. But he's playing a burn deck, so we're probably dead. We're not going to be able to kill him fast enough before he draws enough burn. Especially when he does that. Yeah, so I don't think we can win here. As he draws nothing but power cards over and over. Probably just dead right now. Yep. We need a silence effect right now. We do have the opportunity to draw one. But failed. So if it wasn't that particular unit, we might have been able to survive. But nope. Because now I can't. Yeah, I just will never be able to beat that. So off to a bad start. This is the problem with this deck, is that it's bad against really aggressive decks, and so far we've run up the two, like probably the most aggressive deck in that mono fire build, and then like second most aggressive with the Dark Hands deck there. Bandit Queen is rough. People riding their motorcycles. Hopefully we will get to run into some time decks. There are a ton of these on the ladder. Sandstorm Titan, you know, either with Primal or with Justice. Very, very common. I think our deck is also really good against like Stone Scar mid-range sort of strategy, like maidens and stuff. We just go way over the top of that deck pretty well. This is not keepable. So another hand that's pretty dead to aggro. At least we're on the play. That helps, but if we don't draw a sigil, it's going to be rough. So I do think we have a reasonable matchup against Rakano, because they can be a little more susceptible to Harsh Rule. But if they can't have the kind of draw that's like 3-1 drops on turn 2. Like if he goes 2-1 drops, it's going to be tough. But, you know, we should live long enough to Harsh Rule him, which tends to be good. I don't know, he must just be away from the keyboard or something. I don't know why he's taking so long. This deck is incredibly easy to play for the most part, the Rakano aggro deck. Doesn't really matter what we find here. So we will get to Harsh Rule this game. I'm pretty sure he can't kill us fast enough. We're gonna have to play an Owl out to hope to block this. So our Harsh Rule isn't even that good now that he has all the Aegis units. If he has a Vanquish, we're in huge trouble. If he has more equipment on this, it's probably going to be game over. Yeah. Well, at least we get to eat a thing. But he had a very, very, very good draw. So we can actually survive, which is cool. We can break the shield, chump, block, and then Harsh Rule him, so hopefully that's good enough. But if he has a way to kill this, we're dead. That's really all we're worried about. It doesn't feel good to be, you know, at 6 either. It does feel good that he's playing out all these things that we're about to kill. So if he doesn't have the sword of Icaria, we might win. What's his last card? Hopefully nothing. Alright. So, what do we want to play? I guess it's this. And we're going to hold that, because we want to draw 2 cards next turn. Ugh. It's actually not the worst. I'm actually going to play 2 things here. I don't want to lose to a Vanquish. And he's obviously going to kill that. That's okay. We got more big things where that came from. So we're actually pretty good here. Unless he draws a feather, in which case we're dead. So I hope he draws nothing. That's not so bad. I mean, we need to draw an answer to it in quick order, but I wonder what he's going to silence. Alright. He can't attack. I mean, he can, but he's basically just trying to get... Oh, we drew the perfect card. So we get a draw 2. I think he should have silenced that, to be honest. Yes. Do we want to attack with this? These cover... No, we just don't want to get in trouble against various things. We'll just silence that. Really? He drew Protect? If he drew Protect, I'd cry. So I'm going to block with the big one because it looks like he might have a torch. Okay, now I want to put the pressure on because I do want to kill him before he, like, aggroes us out. And we've got a lot of blockers. So, I think we're only dead to a feather here. So I hope he doesn't draw a feather. Alright, that's not enough. So he has to, like, chump, block. Yeah, he's dead. Unless he has... Even if he has torch, I think he's still dead. Yep. So he'll block the 3 biggest. Then he's taking 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we'll draw 2. Alright. Just send them all in. Oh, I don't think he can have anything. That doesn't matter. Alright, close game, but that's an example of where, you know, Harsh Rule can just beat that deck sometimes. It's close, but he had a really nice start, and if he didn't have quite as nice a start, then Harsh Rule would have really, really ruined him pretty bad. So we are playing against, you know, presumably top 100 players. We are like 50th right now. It was as high as 4th last season, but it doesn't take much. Like, especially when, like, you're brewing, you're not, like, really playing. Like, if I was really concerned about ladder optimization, I'd just play a lot of it. Aggressive decks like everyone else seems to be doing, but I'd rather explore the game while I have access to a lot of the cards. Again, being on the draw is just a death sentence pretty much right now in these matchups. I guess we'll grab that. If we were on the play, we could have had a chance this game, but as it stands, we're probably just dead. He's playing the mono fire deck, which you can't let them hit you for this much in the early game, because then their burn cards just all become great. And we just have no answer to this 4-2 right now. We have to draw a Titan like yesterday. Have him on. Well, next turn would be a fine time for the Titan as well. But I think there's no chance we win this. I guess we could, like, chump block into a Harsh Rule, but the thing is, we're just going to have taken way too much damage, and we're just going to die to the burn long term. Our deck is really good in the late game, but it doesn't win necessarily lightning speed, so... Wow, rally. This guy's just so all in, it's crazy. Yeah, we still can't block. Still can't play 2 things. I mean, I guess we'll... we messed up that, but we're just gonna, like, do this. And I'm not even sure what we're blocking here. Maybe just the 2-1. There's just no way we're gonna win. He has so many burn cards that just kill us. Okay, I guess I will chump that. Yeah. Can't be that card. Yeah, now we're we're just dead. Because if we play this out, he can attack it and then kill us. Or if he attacks first, we have to block and then he kills us. So that's game. Even if we drew Harsh Rule, we were dead there too. So this is what we're experiencing here is kind of my problem with ranked as it's implemented right now in Eternal, with no sideboards, no best of 3. The incentives are too strong for the fire aggressive decks to be played. Just they win or lose quickly, so you get a higher quantity of games. So if you just go 51% or better, if you can get to 60% win rate with these fire decks, then it's a slam dunk no-brainer that you should be just playing them to climb the ladder. If that's all your goal is to climb the ladder. And as a result, anyone who wants to play ladder or ranked has to have a deck that can be good against the fire decks. And it's hard to be that good against them while also maintaining an okay matchup with the other decks. You have to sacrifice so much to try to keep up with the fire decks that your late game becomes too weak. So I don't think it's a problem with the fire decks. I think it's a problem with the incentives for ladder, for ranked. And that's just, that's kind of the way it was in Hearthstone too. For a long time, just like Face Hunter, everyone wanted to play that because that was the quickest way to rank up. Or like Warlock Zoo, that sort of thing. And, this is where Magic has an advantage with having best of 3. And clearly, Eternal has support for best of 3 built into the game, but it's just not being implemented right now. But best of 3 makes these all-in decks a lot worse because you can have a tuned sideboard to smoke them, and they can't really sideboard as well to stay as strong in the late game. Or it's hard for them to sideboard in a way that's really good. Their edge is to be aggressive and kill you before you get your powerful stuff online, so that's the thing. I think... Do we want to chump? I guess not, because he might make them bigger later. I have a feeling he has Vanquish, just because he's not playing anything. But we have to run this out there. I think he has a torch. Given that he has a torch, maybe we're supposed to chump. I don't know. Either way, we're kind of gaining 3 life. He might just double torch the 4/4. I don't know. I guess the single torch when I go to block is enough. Wow, he didn't attack. That's really good for us. But our hand is horrendous, which is really bad for us. We're just super flooded. We have none of our power cards. Well, we have a lot of power cards, but we don't have powerful cards to take advantage of all of our power cards. Still don't. We do get to, like... We kind of want to hold one of these for when we have Vodakhan out, but I will play one more. I do want to do some amount of thinning, but Vodakhan gets a lot better if you can play him and then play Secret Pages. Alright, so that's very bad for us. He finally drew a weapon, so I'll just chump it. So now we're kind of in Harsh Rule or Bust mode. And I think we can wait on that to try to get 2 owls next turn. No, that's really bad. Now we desperately need a Harsh Rule. I wonder if he has Protect. That would be really bad. This is good. I want to cast it now because I don't want him to get more War Cries. He's been War Crying enough. Now we'll get to see if he has the Harsh Rule. He does or doesn't have Protect. I think he would have used Protect if he had it. So I think he has a Torch, But this should stabilize things reasonably-ish. But he did Warcry a ton, so if he draws like anything, it's pretty rough. So we drew one powerful card. We drew a Parliament. We're gonna need to draw at least a couple more to win the game, though. But a lot of things do it here. So I think we want to like double block. We don't. If we block this way, we lose to Torch. This way, he gets to trade a Torch. That's fine. We have to. I'm pretty confident he has Torch now, so he'll probably Torch and finish this off. But there's nothing we can really do about that. We've got a lot of big things we can draw. That's rough. So we need to draw a unit, like, now. That doesn't really help us, sadly. Normally it would be insane. But the fact that he has an 8-power Sword of Icaria makes it real hard. So I think it saves us more life. Well, if he has Torch, it's horrendous. I think we have to Harsh Roll. And probably die to a Torch. Bet you could have. I guess he could still have Protect. Yeah. I guess he was waiting for the Harsh Roll. So we're not quite dead, but we're pretty dead. If he also has the Torch, we are dead. If he had both, he could have had both. So we did not draw well enough this game. So we actually survive. It was kind of the perfect draw. Oh wait, no, we do survive. And he did it in the wrong order. So we get the block. If he has a Torch, we're dead. But we were at 2, so if he had that, we were dead anyway. Unfortunate that we can't kill the dang weapon just yet. And any unit we play is gonna have to get sacrificed there. So Vanquish kills us. He could easily have a Vanquish. Yep. And then did the weapon attack. So I don't think you could again, the way ranked is right now, playing something that smashes the aggressive decks is probably a good place to be. And that would be my Stone Scarred midrange, I think, does pretty well against them. That was also my article. So, again, if I was just laddering normally, I might switch up to that just because we've seen nothing but fire aggressive decks so far. So this is actually like possibly keepable because we're gonna get 3 power off of these, but we end this. Yeah, I think we're actually just gonna keep it. It's pretty weird, but you can keep a 1-power hand in this situation. So surprising. At least you have a Harsh Roll. Harsh Roll could get us out of this. And then we're gonna have a blocker. I'm cautiously optimistic for this game. Yeah, that's kind of what I was afraid of. Now we're gonna need a Desert Marshal, hopefully next turn. So didn't quite get there. I think I will play this. So I guess we want to do this one. This is annoying, but it's not like, right now it's not the worst clock, but if you, yeah, that makes it a little bit scarier. Doesn't do it. we could just harsh rule, harsh rule. That might be what our best bet is. I guess we can attack with both. We're definitely turning our hand face up. Though we could be like have a vanquish or something. I don't know. We could also just be dead here if he has the right weapon with that Warcry 3, if he drew something good. We really just need him to play more units, hopefully. It's a good sign that I guess he didn't suit this up. Yeah, so we turned our hand face up. If he has protect, we're probably dead, but we have to go for it. No. Hopefully he has torches, not protect. Alright. So, I predict if he doesn't draw more feathers, we could win this now. Because we're going to have really big ground units. But that Warcry 3 is a problem. Okay, so I think we're going to go with that. And hope to block. Hope he doesn't have Vanquish. I think he has Torch. Oh, he's just double torching? Okay. Well, this will be a close game. We're going to be at 1. We could win, though. It's not out of the realm of possibility, but it's going to be tough. So, what's the best way? We could play this and hope to chump, or hope to trade. Could play these two and hope to trade. I don't like this because they definitely play like the Valkyrie, which could just kill it and then we die. And it's it'd be nice to get 2 owls, so I guess we're gonna do this. But we're obviously riding on the edge of our seat here. Alright. Well, we can beat that. We can get 8 owl. Well, we could get... No, we could get 3 owls. Let's just get this out there. Hope he doesn't have the silence effect. He would have just played it to put a lethal flyer on the board. We just need him not to make this too big right now. Like, this would have been a little safer because we would have... Alright, looks like we're gonna survive. Now let's get these out there. We need to get aggressive soon because he's going to kill us with any number of things eventually. We just don't have Overwhelm, right? I'm not sure what he's doing. There's no way his deck plays Harsh Rule. Like, that would just be completely madness. So I'm not sure why he did that. Okay. Guess we'll get this down. 12, 16, 20. So I think we want to just leave one back, just in case. We don't want him to give like a flyer charge or something messed up. So obviously we win if he doesn't have burn. Alright. So, like, these matchups are really close, but I do think we're slightly favored against the Rakano aggressive decks, but the other ones, it's not easy, but it's, if you can get the Harsh Rule off, it's beatable. Or if you have like a Desert Marshal and do a Harsh Rule or something. if you are playing against a lot of Rakano, I'd recommend some Vanquishes, and I do have those in the side deck if we were playing best 2 out of 3. So I did play this deck at a tournament last weekend, and I went 3-0. It was 5 rounds. I went 3-0, then lost to Rakano, and then played against the only other undefeated in the last round to beat him. So I ended up in second to the guy who beat me in round 4. And I was playing this with like 4 stand-togethers and some Vanquishes, some healers, the 2/2 that gains 3. That'd be another thing to think about, is playing some healers, just because ladder has been so aggressive. But the thing is, the healers don't even do that much against Rakano, because they're not really like burning you out, they're just making something huge and killing you. But they still help, and they're never that bad. I think... What is he up to? Alright. I don't think we're going to need to marshal in turn 2. So this could be finally a favorable matchup, but I'm guessing he's playing some sort of control deck with Harsh Rule, so I have to be a little careful about the Harsh Rule. And he's probably got silence effects for this. He probably has his own marshals, given what I've seen so far. The question is, what's the shadow for? Not entirely sure. But we're going to have a lot of things he needs to silence. He needs to silence the Ascendants, he needs to silence the Iron Thorns, and the Seraphs. Alright, so it doesn't do us much good to silence that, so I'm not going to bother. We can just take a few hits, it's fine. Maybe the shadow's just for extra removal, like Annihilate. It'd be weird to be kind of splashing Death Strike in a 2-color, 2-faction deck. Alright, he's not doing anything. So normally you want to like play this and a power in the same turns. I think I am gonna do that. I'm just gonna play the Seraph. Maybe he'll burn a silence effect on the Seraph, and now we can actually present like some quad blocks or triple blocks to kill this thing. Suffocate. That's a decent card to splash. This is like Suffocate's hopes and dreams is to kill a Seraph. So I don't think silence does anything to that, aside from remove the overwhelm. So let's just start our turn. So we're hoping to get one of these to stick at some point. I imagine this one's going to die to something like a Vanquish or a... Yeah, Annihilate. I think I am going to chump block now, though. Just because we're getting kind of low, and this 2/1's never going to do much. Alright. So now it's a good example of why we'd want to hold this, so next turn we can play it and the secret pages and get at least one card off it. So we're just generating a lot of 2-for-1s, but if we can't get one of these to stick, it's going to be tough. I'm guessing he has Harsh Rule in his deck as well. And again, I might just fire this off. I do think he's going to have Seraphs, he's going to have his own Ascendants, like, there's going to be good things to silence later, so I don't really want to fire this off, so I think he's just going to Harsh Rule. Be interesting if he Plagued here. Okay. So that's not the word, that's like a pretty good trade for us. So now we get to at least draw one card off this. And that's all. So that kind of stinks. I bet you he's going to have a silence for it. And then we're in potentially horrible shape, depending. It seems like he's been stuck on power this whole time. So his hand is just filled with gas, which is problematic for us. Well, if he can't silence it, it's really good. We're going to draw a million cards. Okay, perfect. So this is an example of just Vodakhan being nuts on his own. Like, look, he just drew us 3 cards and ramped us, and he's going to draw even more here. It'd be a lot better if we had our card that gave our power cards echo, but we're going off here. Vodakhan is all we need. And now we can make... the thing is, I bet you he has another harsh rule. So let's just attack for 17. He's probably going to chump. That's fine. And we want him... We don't need to play anything else. Like, yes, these will threaten lethal, but... he's already kind of in harsh rule or bust mode, though I think he would have just harsh ruled last turn if he had it. Like, it's pretty risky to let this live. I'm gonna pass. Oh, now he might have death strikes. That's annoying. Yeah, now I wish I had done it. Dark Return on Conduit, that's fine. Huh, he just ran it out there. I think I am going to silence this. I don't want that to keep going. Well, we do another Vodakhan. Let's just make a million owls. And threaten lethal in the air. Yep. So there's an example. We finally got a time matchup, and our deck's really good against that, as you can see. So we kind of went off there, but I'll play one more game to see if we can really... We haven't fully gone off, which has been a little annoying. But we've just faced so much aggression, it's been hard to set anything up. So hopefully we get one more positive matchup, and we can draw our card that will give our power cards echo, along with Vodakhan, and we can really see this deck just go berserk, drawing a million cards. I think we want some more early game than this. That hand is keepable. This is like a really similar hand. But now we have a guaranteed double time at least, so if we can get to 4, we might be okay. Or not. So this is like the all-in Rakano deck playing this guy. Like, this card can be really bad, but well, in this deck it's going to be good. Yep. Well, we drew the right card. Definitely blocking if I get the chance. If it's gonna stay at 3 health. But any other weapons, and this will be pretty annoying to deal with. Interesting, he doesn't attack. These decks usually are not in the market for sitting back. So, like, these, again, all combo together. Really? Come on. That took that long to figure out? Seems like the easiest play in the world. So, we have to try to double block, but he might have Vanquish, he might have more things to make this even bigger. Alright, that's fine. Ugh. Well, he nut drawed us, so we're dead. I guess we can chump block, but that's not gonna work. Let's just go to the next game. If he didn't have that feather, we could have won. But when he has that, plus three pretty awesome weapons. That one drop, that can be tough. That's where like having Vanquish is really nice, but our deck is streamlined. We don't really want to get into some sort of mid-range. Just playing cards that don't directly contribute to the strategy. Harsh Rule's kind of doing the job of Vanquish, doing it better normally, but we just might need more of that effect to have a chance. So this is, I think, a rematch, and we have to try to do better than that. So again, pretty big trouble if we don't draw power. And being on the draw, I think it means we're likely dead if he has a good draw. No one drops, a really good start. I predict if we get to 5 power on time, we will win, but that's a start. If we draw secret pages, that'd be perfect. At least we have a blocker. So far we haven't missed any power drops, but if we miss one, we're definitely in huge trouble. But if we can go like power into Parliament, block, power, Harsh Rule, we'll probably win pretty easily. Do we want to chump? I guess not. Not quite yet. Man, this guy's draw is good. But we're kind of doing it. Do we play Titan? Yeah, I think we do. Should slow him down, force him to play weapons. Good. So I think we're in. This has Overwhelm. I think we're just gonna hope to draw the power. So if we draw it, we win. If not, it's gonna be very hard to win. No, we're just dead. Man, that's brutal. We would have won so easily if we drew it. So like I said, if we hit the 5 power on time, it was pretty much a guaranteed win, but could not get there. This one has Overwhelm. If we block here, he tramples over for 4. We end up taking 11 there. Alright, this is keep. Again, if we were on the play, we probably would have had a much better shot there. We would have had another turn, I think, to draw that power. So this looks like some kind of control deck, which is not good. That's the other bad matchup for us. Yeah, I think we're all can be in big trouble. We have a hand that can put on a ton of aggression. If they don't have Harsh Rule, we'll win. If they do, we'll probably lose. This is how this game is going to go. And I don't think we want to just sit back, like... Let's give ourselves a chance to win. It's not the most exciting game, but... If he has he death strikes, it's kind of a tip-off that maybe doesn't have Harsh Rule, which would be good. Alright, that's not the worst. Death strike. Okay. So he doesn't have harsh Rule, which is a start. But I'm guessing if he doesn't have it, he probably has more spot removal, which means this isn't going to get anything done, most likely. Ooh, Desert Marshal is nice. It lets him, makes him only draw 1. I think that's the safer play, because if he has a spot removal, he'll draw 3, which is just too bad for us. And if we can get him to use spot removal on either of these, that'd be a lot better for us. So he clearly has a fast spell of some kind. So that worked out pretty well. But now I'm pretty concerned that he will harsh rule us eventually. Oh god. More Yetis. This is so brutal. We just have to hope this somehow lives. There's just literally almost no way it's going to. Yep. I don't know why he didn't attack with that one. Just misclick, I guess. Yeah, so we're pretty dead. Like, I don't know what we can even draw. Like, Mystic Ascendant and have him somehow have no way of killing it. That would be a one step to winning. Parliament would put on some good pressure, force him to have a harsh roll. Well... now I might just wait, because next turn we can play it and this and actually get some value. And he just drew a ton of cards. So I really would hate to just play this and have him just kill it and get nothing. I'm not that worried about the Yetis. If it's possible he just bricked pretty hard. Unlikely, but let's get some value. Hopefully this chains into a bunch of draws, but it didn't. But this is like the next best thing. If we weren't going to kind of go off there, at least we have this thing requires an answer. Seraph requires an answer. He will lose to it. So I imagine he's just going to go grab a harsh roll, which is fine. We'll be able to play and activate. This is the card that really gives you a shot against the control decks. Like, it commands a harsh roll, so, or spot removal right away. I wonder what he's gonna grab. Okay. It's fine. Don't really care about that. Let's just play this and activate. Pretty much one of the worst hits. There's a couple of really bad hits with her, but for the most part, they're pretty great. I mean, they're all free, so... oh god, the last word. So we got punished really hard for not harsh ruling when we had the chance, I guess. So what does this do? It has deadly and quick draw, so it can kill any unit just by attacking it. And they can pay 9 to make it so when it hits a player, they just win the game. So this card is absolutely horrendous if they have no blockers. You just attack and kill it. But in this situation, you know, if he can get it down to he has one blocker, like, then it works. So our options here are like harsh rule, play this, or just play this. I think you just want to play it. So if we draw like a Great Parliament, we're gonna win really easily, probably. But if he can like ultimate and then next turn have harsh rule, then he wins. So that's the benefit of that. But it doesn't look like he has much. I do applaud people for trying to play control, but it's really hard in this environment. So I guess we're gonna harsh rule and play this. It just dies to this, but otherwise we're dead. And I do want to remove his blockers. So if he has a removal card, and he can pay 9, we're dead. That's... So if he has Annihilate, we're dead. Looks like he doesn't. He does. Okay. Alright, so at least someone did something sweet here. He killed us with Deathstroke. I think this card is, like, pretty hard to make work. I don't mean it worked out well there, but if I had a Desert Marshal, you know, or previous turns, just a flash unit just kills it. There's so much that just kill it pretty easily, so don't think it's great. Alright, so that's going to be it for the video. Didn't quite get to go off that often. Just one game, really, with a single Vodakhan. Showed some of what this deck can do. Of course, that was the only good matchup we had, which kind of points to the deck just not being a good choice right now. There's just too much all-in aggression right now for this to really work. If you wanted to make it do better against those aggressive decks, you might trim, like, go down to 2 Seraph and play 2 Combri Healer to gain some health. I wouldn't really want to touch any of the end game, though. Maybe we just have to give up on the Amber Acolytes altogether and just go for the healer. So maybe we just need to be playing 4 of those instead of the 4 Acolytes, and give us a better shot to beat a fire deck. So maybe that's the recommendation I'd make if you want to try to, especially if you're lower ranked. I think the lower that you are in rank, the more aggressive the decks are going to be, because people are just going to be trying to climb as quick as possible. So you definitely need to, like, tune your deck to beat fire decks right now, I think is the way to go. So that is it. Thanks for watching. Check out numotgaming.com for more articles, content, things like that. Take it easy.